A bomb, a birthday dinner, 5 dead, and Moscow held a secret military funeral. The officer was unnamed, his rank unconfirmed, his presence at the restaurant bombing unacknowledged. Russia has not said who died in the blast, it has not said who was buried. The secrecy may be the answer. Extraordinary security, a secret military funeral, an unnamed general laid to rest. Mystery is growing after Moscow's deadly restaurant bombing. A Russian Telegram channel known for publishing security service leaks has claimed that a secret funeral was held in Moscow for an unnamed major general who may have died in last week's deadly restaurant bombing that reportedly targeted Russia's aerospace forces chief, Alexander Chayko. An anonymous Russian Telegram channel, VChK-OGPU, reported that the funeral took place at Moscow's Troyekurovskoye cemetery under heavy security. The report also claimed that the officers from Russia's Federal Protective Service and National Guard sealed off the area, screened vehicles entering the cemetery, and required visitors to pass through security scanners. According to the channel, eyewitnesses described the officer as a relatively young major general who had previously served in the Russian ground forces. A ground forces flag was reportedly placed beside the grave, while an honor guard carrying the aerospace forces flag escorted the funeral procession. However, neither the Russian government nor the Defense Ministry has confirmed the officer's identity, rank, or cause of death.
The funeral was held in secrecy. Federal Protective Service and Russian National Guard officers were stationed at the cemetery from early morning, inspecting every vehicle that entered and requiring visitors to pass through security scanners.
The reported funeral comes days after an improvised explosive device detonated outside the Buries restaurant in central Moscow. Russian authorities say the blast killed 5 people and injured 19 others. Officials have not released the identities of those killed. Multiple media reports said Colonel General Alexander Chayko, Commander-in-Chief of Russia's aerospace forces, had been attending a private birthday celebration at the restaurant. Russian authorities have not confirmed that Chayko was present or that he was the intended target. Reports citing government database records have also claimed that Chayko's son-in-law Danil Peredri died in the explosion, while his daughter Maria was injured. Those reports have not been officially acknowledged by the Kremlin. No group has claimed responsibility for the bombing. Russia's foreign ministry has blamed Ukraine, but has not publicly presented evidence to support that allegation. Kyiv has not commented on the accusation. The explosion has intensified speculation about the security of Russia's senior military leadership, particularly after a series of attacks targeting high-ranking officers since the start of the war in Ukraine. For now, the identity of the officer buried under extraordinary security remains unconfirmed, leaving another unanswered question in an investigation that continues to be shrouded in secrecy. A homemade bomb exploded outside an upmarket restaurant in central Moscow, killing 3 people and wounding at least 21 in what Russian authorities are investigating as a terrorist attack. The blast struck the Buries restaurant on Kudrinskaya Square shortly before 8 p.m. local time on August 1st, around 2.5 kilometers from the Kremlin. Russia's National Anti-Terrorism Committee said a woman attempted to carry an improvised explosive device into the restaurant, but was stopped by a security guard. The device detonated near the entrance as the package was being inspected. The woman carrying the bomb, the security guard, and a restaurant guest were killed. Investigators have not established whether the woman knowingly transported the explosive or was used as an unwitting courier. The bomb was reportedly concealed inside a gift and packed with metal fragments designed to increase casualties. Emergency workers and armed security personnel sealed off the area as the wounded were taken to hospitals across the Russian capital.
Yesterday, a brutal terrorist act was committed in Moscow that claimed human lives. The victims are currently in the city's hospitals, where they are receiving all necessary care.
Russian and independent media reports suggested the explosion may have targeted Colonel General Alexander Chayko, the newly appointed commander-in-chief of Russia's aerospace forces. The restaurant had reportedly been closed for a private banquet, while footage circulating online showed preparations around a stage bearing the words, Alexander, 55. Chayko turned 55 on July 27th. However, Russian authorities have not confirmed that the general attended the gathering or that he was the intended target. Reports claiming that Chayko survived while members of his family were killed or wounded have also not been officially verified. Chayko previously commanded Russian forces in Syria and led the Eastern Military District during the opening phase of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. He was the senior Russian commander on the ground when troops entered Bucha, where hundreds of civilians were killed during the occupation. No organization has claimed responsibility for the bombing, and Moscow has presented no evidence linking the attack to Ukraine. Kiev has not commented.
Those responsible for committing this crime will certainly be found and will face the punishment they deserve.
The bombing follows a series of attacks against senior Russian military figures since the invasion began in 2022. Several officers have been killed by explosives in Moscow, while Ukrainian operations have demonstrated an ability to strike military targets deep inside Russian territory. Whether Chayko was the intended target remains unproven, but an explosive reaching the entrance of a guarded private gathering in central Moscow has raised fresh questions about Russia's ability to protect its senior commanders as the war moves ever closer to the Kremlin. It began with an explosion in Monaco. It has ended thousands of miles away with a confession from inside Ukraine's own military intelligence. Ukraine's Prosecutor General's office and the security service say a Ukrainian intelligence officer has admitted to killing the woman suspected of trying to assassinate sanctioned Dnipro businessman Vadim Yermolayev, unraveling a case that started as an attack on foreign soil and ended as a murder investigation at home. The woman, Anastasia Berezovska, allegedly slipped back into Ukraine on July 1st. Within days, she was dead, and investigators were already tracing every step she had taken since landing.
According to investigators, she arrived in Ukraine on July 1st, 2026. The authorities identified the people she had been in contact with and traced her movements.
The trail led to two men, a former law enforcement officer and a serving HUR officer, both of whom had wired her money through crypto wallets and bank transfers. That financial link was enough to turn suspicion into scrutiny and scrutiny into arrest. Then came the discovery that turned the case darker still. A search of the former officer's home uncovered a basement investigators say had been fitted out as a torture chamber. Berezovska's body bore gunshot wounds to the head, with spent shell casings recovered at the scene. Both men now face charges of murder committed as part of a group.
During urgent investigative steps, the active HUR officer confessed to killing Berezovska together with another suspect. He also said he had not informed his superiors about his contacts with her.
Behind it all sits the man who was never meant to survive the attack that started it. On June 29th, an explosion ripped through an apartment building in Monaco, leaving Yermolayev and his wife in critical condition, while their 13-year-old son escaped with non-life-threatening injuries.
An explosive device which was near the entrance door, either on the access steps to the building or immediately in the vestibule, and which seriously injured 3 inhabitants of this building who were presumably returning home.
Yermolayev built his fortune across agribusiness, real estate, construction materials and medical equipment, one of Dnipro's wealthiest men. He gave up his Ukrainian citizenship in 2017, settled in Monaco after the 2022 invasion, and was sanctioned by Kyiv in 2023 over alleged Russian ties, accusations he has consistently denied. What remains unclear is why a HUR officer was involved at all. That question now sits with prosecutors preparing charges as Ukraine's national police and the SBU's counterintelligence unit push the investigation forward.